somebody's racist to you, there are no comebacks. There is nothing you can say to win, because what am I going to do? Be racist back to them? No, because I'm not racist. And most of the people who are racist to me are white, and it's very tricky to try and be racist to white people. Like, what am I going to be like? Oh, I'm Kumar? Well, you're the lead in most movies that come out.
That's comedian Kumail Nanjiani, who is now selling out big clubs and playing superheroes in movies. But along with stars like Pete Holmes and Hannibal Buress, he got his start in the back rooms of Chicago bars and at places like the now-closed Lincoln Restaurant.
Comedian Mike Bridenstine has a new book that looks at the comedy scene in the late 90s and early 2000s. It is called The Perfect Amount of Wrong, The Rise of Alt Comedy on Chicago's North Side. Mike joins us now. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. So where does Chicago rank nationally in terms of importance? I'm hoping you'll take a dig at New York right now.
I'll take a dig at New York. I think that that's the greatest comedy scene of all time. That's where people go after they get good in places like Chicago. They couldn't have gone there to be famous if they hadn't gotten good here first.
And what was it about, you're talking about like the late 90s, early 2000s,
Right.
and was it just a lot of the traditional comedy clubs had closed? Is that how this back stuff started happening?
That's exactly right, yeah. Nationally, comedy stopped being popular. All of the clubs in Chicago, like a dozen or so, closed, except for Zanies. They weren't as welcoming to the the local scene as they could have been. So all of these people had to kind of create their own scene, and what they made was a generation of like amazing talent, and that's what I wanted to focus on in the book.
So how did they get started then? If you can't play Zanies or some of the other well-known rooms, was it just people had a performance venue of some kind and then just said, open casting call, anyone can show up?
There were open mics and things like that to get in, but it was people like Mark Geary who started the Lincoln Lodge and approaching different bars and asking if we can put on a stand-up show there, and that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And who is, so we saw some of the big names there, but did they all start somewhere else and then start making their way into Chicago first, or did they all cut their teeth here?
A lot of them are homegrown. Some people started in college and then came here after college, but a lot of it started right here in Chicago.
Yeah.
And what was your fascination with it?
I was part of it. I was one of the comedians that was here, and when I moved to Los Angeles to do stand-up, the number one thing people asked me about was like, oh my gosh, you came from the scene that produced all these amazing people. And during COVID, I had nothing to do, and so I wanted to talk about it and interview some of the people and talk to them about their experience and make sure that nationally more people knew about it.
We were just looking at Esposito there. Tell us kind of her story there.
Cameron is hugely important in the scene. There were not a lot of women doing stand-up at the time, and she made it kind of her mission to make sure it was more 50-50, and she accomplished that with a program called FemCom at the Lincoln Lodge that still exists to this day. If women want to take stand-up courses, she started that, and she should be really proud of that fact.
Are any of these, it seems like a lot of these places I've heard of, the Red Lion Pub, I don't think that's not around anymore, is it? I mean, like Beat Kitchen, the Lion's Den, Timothy O'Toole's, do they still do a lot of this stuff in the back room?
Yeah, Timothy O'Toole's, Comedians You Should Know is at Timothy O'Toole's, I think every Wednesday. Shout out. My friend Joe Kilgallen is there every Wednesday. I think he's watching, so hi, Joe. And a lot of these shows still exist. The Lincoln Lodge every night of the week except for one, and so people can go see the future of comedy any night of the week in Chicago.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. So your book focuses on the late 90s, early 2000s, but where does the genre stand today in Chicago?
I think it's probably better than ever, and I think that they should be proud of how it started. It started basically from scratch, and it's kind of exploded into what it is.
So when you were doing this, are we talking these were just open mics and like maybe a few people? Give me some examples of what these crowds, these people were dealing with. I think you said Kumail was like throwing a ball around the room or something because there was nobody there.
I specifically remember one show that it was my two coworkers at R.H. Donnelly at the Aon Building downtown, and Kumail found a Super Ball somewhere and just started whipping it around the room, and it was still pretty fun. He was still doing pretty well. Now he's a superhero for Marvel.
God, how far it's come, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really great. Well, you can find out more from Mike, and the book is called The Perfect Amount of Wrong. And Mike will be at Volumes Book Cafe in Wicker Park tonight. He's also going to be doing stand-up at the Lincoln Lodge in Logan Square tomorrow. Mike, so great to see someone focusing a book just on Chicago.
Lodge. It's such a cool room. I hope you get out and check that out, Mike.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.